All right, hi everybody. This is going to be the video solution to number 1 of the notes we were going to do today. So a quick little review, everybody. Average rate of change is basically just the change in the output over the change in the input. When we are talking about instantaneous rate of change, we are talking about a limit as it heads to 0, as the change heads to 0. So what we are talking about today is something called marginal change. It again is the instantaneous rate of change of an application function. And so this is going to be interpreted as one additional value. All right, so here we go. Number 1, a company determines the cost in dollars of a manufacture of X cases of a certain CD is given by this function right here, the cost function. So what we are going to do, the very first question, asks us for the average rate of change between 1 and 5. So if we set that up, we can just say the average rate of change. So it's going to be the change, let me do a C. It's going to be the cost function at 5 minus the cost function at 1 over the 5 minus 1. So we end up with, if we plug 5 in, we end up with 150. If we plug 1 in, we end up with 114. And then with 5 minus 1, we're going to get a 4. And when we do that calculation, it ends up being 9. So the cost per case, so we're going to say $9 per case. That's the average rate of change between 1 and 5 cases. So letter B, find the additional cost when the production is increased from 1 case to 2 cases. So additional cost is just going to be the difference between those two. So if I have the cost at 2 minus the cost at 1, what was it? The cost at 2. So we have the cost at 2 was 126. The cost at 1 we figured out to be 114. So that difference is 12. And that would be the additional cost to go from 1 to 2 cases. So let's just go ahead and let me write this a little bit lower because that looks like a negative. Equals $12 per case. So now the last question is, find the instantaneous rate of change. So we're talking about the instantaneous rate of change of the cost with respect to the number of cases produced when just 1 case is produced. So that is going to be the cost at 1 case. Now it's going to end up being a function, okay? So this is going to be a function that would tell us this change. So when we're doing this, we are doing the definition of instantaneous rate of change. So we have x plus h minus x. So we would get the limit as h heads to 0. So we are plugging in that x plus h every place we see that. And minus the x plus h squared. And now we are subtracting that function. And it ends up being all over h. So am I going to run out of room? I'll probably have to go to the next page. All right, let's just go ahead and go to the next page. Okay, so what did we have? We had the limit as h goes to 0. I'm just going to write it all out again, you guys, so that we can see what is happening here. And then we're subtracting that function. And it's all over h. So what we need to do is we need to take care of distributing that, and we need to take care of squaring the x plus h. So I'm hoping after all of these times we've done this, that we're pretty comfortable with that. Let me go back to blue. All right, so we have the limit as h goes to 0, the 100, the 15x, the 15h minus the x squared minus the 2xh and minus the h squared and then minus the 100 minus the 15x and plus x squared all over h. So what can we do? We can do some simplifying by taking that positive 15x minus 15x. Oh, there's the 100 minus the 100, the negative x squared plus the x squared. Each one of those goes to 0. So we have, what are we left with? 15h minus 2xh minus h squared all over h. So now we're going to do the simplifying of the factoring we do there. So we do the limit, h goes to 0. We have 15 minus 2x minus h. So now here again, this is 0, this is 0. So we end up with 15 minus 2x. So that is the marginal cost function. Let's just write this down. Marginal cost function, which would be, let's just say, is 15 minus 2x. All right, off to do the next one. See you next time.